The life of is one of the most compelling political journeys in modern South Asian history, marked by determination, constitutional struggle, and an unshakable commitment to principles. Born on December 25, 1876, in Karachi, then a part of British India, Jinnah belonged to a Khoja Muslim family engaged in trade. His father, Jinnah Bhai Punja, was a successful merchant who hoped his son would eventually join the family business. Yet destiny had prepared a very different path for the young boy who would one day reshape the political destiny of millions of Muslims in the subcontinent. Jinnah received his early education in Karachi and later in Bombay, showing an early aptitude for debate and independent thinking. At the age of 16, he was sent to London for higher studies, a decision that proved transformative. Enrolled at Lincoln's Inn to study law, he immersed himself in British legal traditions, parliamentary practices, and constitutional principles. London exposed him to the ideals of liberalism, rule of law, and political moderation. These ideas left a deep imprint on his mind and would later define his method of politics, negotiation, legal reasoning, and constitutional advocacy rather than emotional agitation or violent confrontation. After completing his legal education, Jinnah returned to India in 1896 and established himself as a barrister in Bombay. His sharp intellect, dignified demeanor, and mastery of law soon earned him a reputation among the legal community. But it was politics, not law, that gradually became his true calling. Initially, Jinnah joined the Indian National Congress, which at that time aimed at securing greater political rights for Indians under British rule. He believed strongly in Hindu-Muslim unity and worked tirelessly to bring the communities together in a common struggle for constitutional reforms. His early career thus reflected a vision of inclusive nationalism, where Muslims and Hindus would jointly negotiate their rights from the British government. Jinnah's political philosophy was shaped by moderation and constitutionalism. He admired British parliamentary democracy and believed that Indian political progress should occur through dialogue, legal reforms, and representation. His speeches in legislative councils were marked by clarity, logic, and restraint. He argued passionately for civil liberties, minority rights, and self-governance. During this period, he also came into close contact with prominent leaders such as N, though their political methods and visions for India later diverged sharply. One of the most significant achievements of Jinnah's early political career was his role in the Lucknow Pact of 1916, where Congress and the All India Muslim League reached an agreement on constitutional reforms and minority safeguards. This pact symbolized Hindu-Muslim cooperation and elevated Jinnah's status as an ambassador of unity. However, the political landscape soon began to change. Gandhi's introduction of mass civil disobedience and non-cooperation movements marked a shift from constitutional politics to mass agitation. Jinnah, a firm believer in lawful negotiation and gradual reform, disagreed with these methods. He feared that emotional mass politics might lead to communal tensions and instability. Gradually, ideological differences widened between Jinnah and the Congress leadership. He resigned from Congress and focused more on Muslim political representation. His concern was not rooted in separatism at first but in the genuine fear that Muslims, being a minority in a democratic setup dominated by Hindu majority, might lose their political voice. He began to advocate for constitutional safeguards, separate electorates, and provincial autonomy to protect Muslim identity and interests. During the 1920s and early 1930s, Jinnah faced a period of political isolation. Disillusioned with the direction of Indian politics, he temporarily moved to London, where he resumed legal practice and reflected deeply on the future of Muslims in India. It was during this introspective period that his political vision matured. He realized that constitutional assurances alone might not be sufficient to secure Muslim rights in a future independent India dominated by a strong central government. In the 1930s, Jinnah returned to India at the request of Muslim leaders who saw him as the only capable figure who could unify the fragmented Muslim political voice. With renewed determination, he reorganized the All India Muslim League and began mobilizing Muslims across the subcontinent. His speeches emphasized political awareness, unity, and disciplined organization. He transformed the Muslim League from an elite political forum into a mass movement that spoke directly to the aspirations of ordinary Muslims. The turning point in Jinnah's political career came in 1940 when the Muslim League passed the Lahore Resolution, demanding independent states for Muslims in the northwestern and eastern zones of India where they were in majority. This resolution did not immediately use the name Pakistan, but it laid the foundation for a separate Muslim homeland. Influenced by the philosophical vision of, who had earlier proposed a Muslim state in the Northwest, Jinnah now championed the idea that Muslims were not merely a minority but a distinct nation with their own culture, history, and political destiny. From 1940 onwards, Jinnah's political mission became increasingly clear and resolute. He argued that the subcontinent consisted of two major nations, Hindus and Muslims, each deserving political autonomy. His demand was rooted in the belief that democracy in a united India would effectively mean majority rule, leaving Muslims politically vulnerable. Jinnah's critics accused him of promoting division, but his supporters saw him as the guardian of Muslim political survival. The negotiations with the British and Congress leadership during the final years of British rule were intense and complex. Jinnah displayed remarkable strategic skill, patience, and clarity. He participated in various constitutional discussions, including the Cabinet Mission Plan, which initially offered a federated structure. Although he showed willingness to consider compromise, he remained firm on the principle that Muslim political rights must be guaranteed beyond mere promises. As communal tensions escalated in the mid-1940s, the demand for Pakistan gained unprecedented support among Muslims. Jinnah's speeches became more assertive but remained disciplined and constitutional in tone. He urged Muslims to remain united, organized, and committed to peaceful struggle. His leadership during this turbulent period demonstrated his ability to combine firmness with restraint, a rare trait in revolutionary politics. Finally, after years of negotiations, debates, and political struggle, the British government agreed to partition India. On August 14, 1947, Pakistan emerged as an independent state, fulfilling Jinnah's lifelong mission. He became the first Governor-General of the new country and was respectfully titled, Quaid Azam, meaning the Great Leader. His close associate became the first Prime Minister. The birth of Pakistan, however, came with immense challenges: mass migrations, communal violence, administrative chaos, and economic uncertainty. Despite fragile health, Jinnah worked tirelessly in the early days of Pakistan to establish the foundations of a modern state. His vision for Pakistan was rooted in constitutionalism, equality, and religious freedom. In his historic address to the Constituent Assembly on August 11, 1947, he emphasized that religion was a personal matter and that all citizens, regardless of faith, were equal before the state. This speech revealed his broader vision of Pakistan as a democratic and inclusive nation rather than a theocratic state. Jinnah's administrative responsibilities were enormous. He had to oversee the establishment of government institutions, manage refugee crises, stabilize the economy, and define foreign policy. He worked long hours despite severe illness, demonstrating extraordinary dedication. His personal discipline, simplicity, and integrity inspired government officials and citizens alike. He believed that honesty, merit, and hard work were essential for national progress and repeatedly warned against corruption and disunity. Unfortunately, Jinnah's health deteriorated rapidly due to tuberculosis and lung complications, which he had kept largely private during the independence struggle. On September 11, 1948, just a year after Pakistan's creation, he passed away in Karachi. His death was mourned deeply across the nation, as people realized that the guiding force behind their independence had left too soon. The loss was not merely of a political leader but of a visionary who had provided ideological direction and moral strength to the new state. The legacy of Muhammad Ali Jinnah remains deeply embedded in the political and national consciousness of Pakistan. He is remembered not only as the founder of the country but also as a constitutionalist, a champion of minority rights, and a leader who valued discipline and unity above all. His journey from an ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity to the architect of a separate Muslim homeland reflects the complex political realities of colonial India and the evolving aspirations of its communities. Jinnah's story is ultimately a story of transformation guided by principle rather than ambition. He began as a liberal nationalist seeking cooperation among communities but evolved into a determined advocate for Muslim nationhood when he felt that their political identity could not be safeguarded otherwise. His method remained consistent: legal argument, negotiation, and unwavering resolve. Unlike many revolutionary leaders, he did not rely on emotional rhetoric or mass agitation. Instead, he used constitutional tools to achieve what once seemed impossible. Even decades after his death, debates continue about his political strategies, his vision for Pakistan, and the interpretation of his speeches. Yet there is universal agreement on his personal integrity, intellectual brilliance, and political courage. He faced opposition from powerful political figures, criticism from rivals, and immense pressure during negotiations, yet he remained composed and focused on his goal. His ability to convert a minority political demand into a successful national movement stands as one of the most remarkable achievements in 20th century political history. In the broader context of world history, Jinnah represents a unique model of leadership, one that combines legal expertise, diplomatic negotiation, and moral conviction. He neither commanded armies nor led violent revolutions, yet he succeeded in creating a new state through constitutional struggle and political strategy. This peaceful yet determined approach has made him a respected figure not only in Pakistan but also among scholars of political history worldwide. Thus, the life of Muhammad Ali Jinnah is not merely a chronological account of events but a narrative of vision, perseverance, and transformation. From a young law student in London to the founder of a nation, his journey reflects the power of ideas guided by discipline and clarity. His story continues to inspire generations who see in him a symbol of steadfast leadership and a reminder that nations are built not only by force but by faith in principles, unity of purpose, and unwavering commitment to justice.